I'm getting used to being a maid in Saudi. I'm getting the hang of it. I'm telling you, the biggest thing with Saudi is the monotony of the routine. That was getting to me. Like, every day looked the same from Monday to Sunday. Those people don't even have a church day. Only the men, I think. Only the men go to the mosque. Women, they pray in the house all day. So there was some kind of monotony, and it was getting to me. And I would feel lonely because of course also there were no other people around. Like, I would miss to see a black face. And as I started thinking, like, wow, yeah, I'm having a challenge of missing seeing people, interacting with people, missing kupiga moshene na mtu. Now, I'll go into the internet whenever I'll get time, because I told you, by this time, bado ndio sasa, mwezi wa 3 umefika. ID ndio nangoja ifike, alafu nienda ni buy kadi. Inaitwa, sijui kadi ilikuwa inaitwa aje. Sikani shahan ilikuwa ni charger. Anyways, zinaenda zikipotea, but nilikuwa nimeshika some words in Arabic. So nimepata ninaanza kusikia nimeanza kupatwa na kale kapinchi ka kusikia yenyewe siko home. Na miss kuona black face. Kwenye nilikuwa hawakuwa wengi, watu wengi wao kwa hiyo familia hawakuwa na mashagala. Mashagala ni sisi Mambochi. But kulikuwa na mmoja alikuwa anaishi Qatar. Mimi niko Saudi. Na nikaambiwa juu hiyo time nilienda ilikuwa around Ramadhan, wakaniambia atakuja. Alafu wakaniambia hata huyo msichana mwenye anamfanyianga kazi ni Mkenya. Nilikuwa natandika kitanda, nikaosha room, nika make space, nilikuwa na ngoja huyo msichana. Nilikuwa na mngoja, nilikuwa nimemiss kuona mtu wa kwetu. So akafika, wallahi akafika, wacha nifurahie, wacha tuanze moshene. Ilikuwa time poa. So kitu ilifanyika, wamefika and realize. Nikiwa hapa Kenya, wakati nilikuwa kwa ofisi nikiendelea kupanga kwenda huko, kulikuwa na msichana mwingine rafiki yangu, tulikuwa na yeye alikuwa anatoka Coast. Kuna siku ile kabla niende ndege yangu ikiwa imebakisha siku kadhaa, huyu msichana babake ndo alidai, na tulikuwa na yeye mahali tulikuwa tunangoja. Nilikwambia conditions za kwenye wasichana huishi wakingoja kufly out si mzuri, zilikuwa zinanifikia kidogo. Na nilisema one time, mimi wakati niliona itanilemea, my dad alikuwa anaishi Nairobi, and nilikuwa watu walikuwa wamefunga, ilikuwa ni holiday, ilikuwa April kama time kai. So I think nilifly out to Saudi April 7. So my dad alinipea funguo juu anaishi Nairobi, ni mwalimu na anakuwa na kanyumba huko. Akaniambia alikuwa amenipea funguo nijipange. Sijui. Sahi hakuna coincidence najua. So mimi wakati niliona hizo conditions za kwenye wasichana wanaishi singewezana, nilikuwa na plan B na nikajisort, which was okay, which was much far away but much better for me. Kwenye wasichana wanaishi kulikuwa na shida ya chakula, which I said, even I communicated to the office. Wasichana walikuwa na shida ya kulishwa vizuri, na mimi napenda conditions poa. Nani hapendi anyway, but hata bila kupenda nilikuwa na option. Nakumbuka hata wakati tulikuwa huko, kuna wasichana marafiki zangu walikuwa tumejuana, na hata tukiwa huko walikuwa wanaenda kutafuta kazi za mjengo wapate kado waweze kufanya kitu juu bado wengine walikuwa na watoto, wengine wanahitajika nini. So nataka kusema wakati naendelea kupeana history, najua kuna uzito ambao uko ndani yake, especially kwa wanawake ambao wanapatanga ugumu wa kukaa na wanaume, na I think God punishes a woman who is not able to tolerate a man, because that's what many women do. Many women tolerate men. And those of us who have the audacity to say and set clear boundaries, to say, no, this is not how it's going to happen for me. Some of us are not employed because if we are independent and we get something going for ourselves, we may never look at a man. I have sampled very many stories from many people about the experience with marriage, and men do so little. There is some laxity. Kuna vile wanaume ukaa back wana relax kiasi, na sijawahi penda hiyo kitu. Na wanawake ambao wako vocal sana, women who are vocal and no boundaries, and they have some little loves for themselves, hao ndio tunaitwa vichwa ngumu. Of course sisi ndio tunaenda kutishiwa Saudi juu sisi ni vichwa ngumu. Saudi ni ya kutisha, na nimesema from the moment you set foot in Saudi, you have started your fear installation program. Wewe ni mtu ambaye wewe ni kichwa ngumu, wewe enda ukapambane na wanye kusema wenye ni wao, watu wa miondoko. Saudi ni watu they are responsible for, especially I tell you, they know, they have all the drivers that drive this place. I'm not missing my words. So anyway, nikasema wakati kuna my friend alilose babake in law na alikuwa coast. Coincidentally wakati nimefika huku ni kama baba yao alikuwa amepass huku kwenye nimeenda. I'm telling you, different incidences happening in different locations now mean different things to me. I can synchronize things and get so much information. Sijui happened really, but it happened exactly after I came to Saudi. Even when I was in Saudi, I started connecting things and they would communicate to me, and that's how I knew I was not in a normal place. And they knew I knew. And they were unable to do anything with me, and that's how I think my bravery saved me. So kama uko Saudi na wewe unapenda uoga kwanza, wewe uweze survive Saudi. Wewe utakuwa na maisha ngumu Saudi. Saudi nataka mtu akona kichwa mbaya. Tuwezi kaliwa ovyo ovyo. I think that is what saved me, because they would bring problems and I was like, now is that even a problem? Like when I calculated in my head, I was like, now hiyo ni shida gani? Hiyo shida inakujia wapi? And they would not know what to do with me, because everything they were trying to bring, like to stress me out, I was like, okay, mi sioni stress hapo. And like I said, as Beth, I'm a woman who loves living free. And as I give this story, and you see me so hysterical sometimes on the internet, I know who I'm dealing with. It's a person who I can fall down here and die, because I saw that happening when I was not sick, and I'm afraid. So as I'm sharing this story, I know who I'm dealing with. And sometimes I'm afraid because I have been in a fight. Only me knows. But besides the point, let me give you my story, because I think it's interesting. It is interesting. So coincidentally, baba huko kwao alikuwa amedai. Bwana ya sasa huyu shoshi nilikuwa naangalia. And I think he died around that time, because the way they were acting is like, when I went there, they were still like, people were still like mourning him. That is coincidental, or yeah, or maybe I am imagining it. Nikiwa Nairobi siku moja nikijipanga kwenda Saudi, nilikuwa na buy nguo. Sikuwa najua nitanunua nini, but nilikuwa najua nahitaji tungo turefu. Nilikuwa nime-research kwa internet kwenye naenda. Nilikuwa napenda exercise, na nilikuwa nakumbuka wakati nafanya research kuna tu funny videos tulikuwa tunapop up on YouTube. Tunanionyesha venye wanawake wa Saudi who exercise. Do you know a Saudi woman goes out for a run with full hijab? Full abaya, amefunikwa ati ameenda kurun outside. And you think what I'm saying is, God, the original God lives in Saudi, and the original God made a woman as a subject to man, and the Saudi woman lives, I don't know, because there are advantages also of a woman, but the Saudi woman lives constrained. I will call that constrained. She doesn't live a happy life. And sometimes even when I was there, I would look at them, how they are behaving, and I was like, damn, I think I miss home. I used to think about the freedom of interaction we have back at home, and I used to miss it. So anyway, kuna incidents imetokea, kuna mtu amepoteza hapa father-in-law na huko mtu amekufa. So I'm saying, this is how I connect so many things together. Incidences happening in different places, I can bring them together. I am in sync with the whole globe, and I'm not joking. And it is disturbing my head, and I live a very disturbed life. I'm repeating, I'm not missing my word. And those people who want to make me appear like I'm insane, I'm not insane. I'm just conscious. Things that never used to trigger my attention, now they are. I know every little thing that is happening is planned and affects our future. And in that case now, I'm living in anxiety because every decision I'm making is determining a lot on what is going to happen in my future, and that puts a lot of pressure on me a bit. And I feel like I have to do everything so right, or else something will go wrong, because sometimes I see the consequence of my thoughts. There are times people have died and I have felt like it's my fault. I'm not lying. So anyway, nimefika Ramadhan, imeisha, tumeingia mwezi wa pili. Ndio hiyo sasa nikaambiwa kuna huyo dada mmoja wa Katara atakuja na msichana wake wa kazi ni Kenya. Nikaosha, nikatandika, amefika, tukapendana. Now, notice one thing, that when this lady came in, as a human being, you notice everything. I noticed her legs had black spots of like earlier wounds that had healed. Immediately I thought this, and walikuwa na kwao. The sister was married in another boma, so they would come sometimes. They will stay with anasalimia mamake for a week, anaenda kwake. So when she was with me around, when tulikuwa tunalala room moja, tunabonga story, and wakati tu alifika huku alianza story. Nimekwambia kuna mtu mmoja alikuwa na come up sana kwa conversations, na wakati tulianza story, tukaanza story za boyfriend nini, kuna vitu alikuwa na mentions in like direct to this person. I keep saying nilisikia kama nilienda Saudi juu yake. Yeah, and that's why I think the whole Saudi thing is about matching. And if you think marriage is not important to God, hata tukikufa tunasemanga ni uhiki wako kutakuwa na harusi. So marriage is very important to God, because that is, I think there's a significance of marriage in afterlife. Also, when I was buying these clothes mrefu hapa Nairobi, mahali tao hapo, sijui panaitangwa aje, sijui panaitwa Globe what, hapo Globe, kuna wasichana waliingia na wakaanza mambo za harusi, wakabonga stories za harusi. Na unajua saa hii ndio unajua superstition inakuanga ukweli. Umesikia ukiota na harusi kunaweza kuwa na kifo, na ukiota na kifo kunaweza kuwa na harusi. Saa hizi ndio najua hizi vitu zinamaanisha nini. Saa hii ndio najua mbona nyanya zetu akakutuma ile brand na kutuma ya kitu, hawezi tumia kitu kingine, atataka hiyo brand. Saa hii ndio najua maana yake, na sitawa burden na hiyo. Juu najua na najua na wanajua najua na haithuru. When these girls were talking when I was buying these clothes, wanaongelelea marriage na naenda Saudi. Si hiyo ilikuwa inaniambia nakwambia Saudi ikikuja knocking to you, death is at your door. Nothing is expected. Saudi is a place of judgment. Those people are going to scrutinize you. They are going to judge you. Look for every possible kosa wanaweza kuwekelea wa kupunish. That's what I got from my whole experience, as I'll continue sharing. Saudi ukiponea ni jueni mtu mzuri na sijui ni nini. Saudi ikungoji kwa mtu mzuri. Hata hiyo message wanatumanga kila siku unaona. Wa Saudi wani punishers. They are waiting for you to punish you for something. And as I see it, I noticed that, hizo vitu unabebanga. For example, that person that keeps appearing, I have been unable to forgive him for a particular thing he did to me, that I carry it in my heart. Unforgiveness. And God hates unforgiveness. Hiyo kitu ishai happen kwa wewe, na ukashindwa kuiachilia na unaibebanga na uzito kwa roho yako. Hiyo ndio kitu utatestiwa nayo most Saudi. Kama uko Saudi, just follow and see. So anyway, so many things now are showing me that the universe was communicating to me. My time was up. And as I sit here on this stool, and as I give this story, and I keep telling you, the biggest battle I have is continuing with life after I had already made peace with death, because I was dying and I was going to die cruelly. And I've almost died also very many times, even after I came back from Saudi. The biggest battle I'm facing is allowing life to go on, because like I'm mad at God, because how dare he say my life was ending and telling me into my face. Wengine mtu anakaa tu ameenda haulizwi, mi ananiambia, inanibother. It is bothering me that he is telling me that my time was up. That disturbs me in the head, because I'm like, and all the plans I had made and all my ambitions. Then I remember all the disappointments I had faced. Kumbe Mungu alikuwa naona. Kumbe alikuwa naona na akaacha nikuwe those are my fights. I have so much internal fights with God. And I keep saying that the biggest fight I have is self-motivating to move on after knowing my life had come to an end. Anyway, niko kwa story ya kupata ID. Alikuwa anaitwa Hadija. Hadija amekuja. Tumebonga. The moment I noticed her legs zilikuwa na spots, wakati walienda kwao juu walikuwa sasa huyu ni msichana ameolewa ameenda kwao, the blanket she used, alikuwa amepewa blanket poa, nikajifunikia. That same night nilikuwa nasikia kama nakuliwa na worms kwa miguu. That was strange. Nikaamka nikawasha lights, nikaangalia, nikaona hakuna wadudu. That same week I developed a spot na ikaacha mark kama ile ilikuwa kwa miguu ya Hadija. That was sus. I'm telling you, they judge. Kila kitu nafikiria kwanza mbaya kuhusu mtu, they respond and they react. They overreact, They overreact to the thoughts you have. Like I keep saying they were overreacting to the fact that I thought it was a low income area. Wakakataa kunibaia vitu. They would refuse. Actually, they would refuse. And there are days I would cry because I would feel like, mbona watu wengine wananiambia wanabaiwa vitu na mimi sibaiwi? Kumbe ni mimi. Ni vile nafikiria kwenye nilienda hakutoshi, so wana act accordingly. They overreact, especially when you make a bad judgment. Miguu ya Hadija nimeona iko na spots. The same week ameenda ninapata spots kwa mguu. Although alinihurumia nilipata moja. So if I'm saying Saudi is heaven, I'm not. I could feel, and this is how I felt even when I come back. Sometimes I would think nitachomeka juu ya vitu zingine nimefanya kwa maisha, na najua wamenisoma, wameona mind yangu yote, and literally I would feel like my body was burning. There are things I still feel today that I know, the heaven, this heaven stuff, and nobody can tell me anything. So that is one of the things I was noticing. So anyway, nimepata mtu wa kubonga na yeye. Another thing I noticed immediately after that is how like men were particular about my boobs. And I even told Hadija this. I was like, na huku wanaume wanapenda boobs. Like I would even hold a kid that is male and they would like fondle my boobs, and I was like, even watoto wa huku ni wa weird. And I remember when one time I told Hadija that, and she was like, ziko poa. And I was like, okay, people are speaking weird. Like also Hadija ananiambia, niko like, okay, thanks. I'm not into that area of operation, but thanks. I noticed people were so particular about my boobs, even males, and even the younger ones. So there are little kids I used to take care of, and they would bring another behavior that was so sexual, and I was like, ay, something is wrong with this place. And I think my alertness saved me. Juu huko ukienda na uko tu zako, juu watu wengi wanaenda wakiwa na ma-stress, utafanya decisions and wako na wamekutrap. They are trapping you. They are looking for a reason to kill you. That is all Saudis are doing. They are looking for a reason to kill you because you are a judgmental person. Apparently, I noticed. I have learned so much about myself as a person since I went to Saudi. I used to think I was a very good person, and I noticed they put my mind on loudspeaker and I keep complaining that I see all my thoughts everywhere. The universe is responding, and that's when I knew that, the universe keeps checking me when I'm thinking negatively. It keeps checking me now. And I noticed maybe before I was a bit overboard with my thinking and I thought I was a good person. I was not. And there are things I'm working on that I have learned through my Saudi journey, but the education the Saudis gave me is very tough. It is the toughest education I have ever received. And I wish they would not do that to girls. They would allow us continue learning slowly here back home, because nobody deserves the kind of things they do there. It is not okay to allow us to come to heaven and then do that to us. We don't even know where we are. So Saudis, I'm still pressing that should be corrected. A girl, you have no intentions of giving a girl work there. You have other intentions, you know it. Girls should not be coming there. And I'm saying this loudly. So anyway, Hadija amekuja, tumeanza kubonga, vitu zina happen. And I remember when this is the employer, Hadija's employer was a sister to this Baba. I told you she had very many children, almost 11. And most of them were very grown. So when she wanted me to call her mama, but to me, nilikuwa nasikia kama ni mama mtu anaweza kuwa, juu huyo baba alikuwa almost age ya babangu, nilikuwa nasikia mimi nitamuita shosh. That was the most correct thing. And as I continued and realized they were listening to my mind and also listening to my conversations, I noticed nikimuita shosh, alikuwa nakasirika, alikuwa anataka kuitwa mama, nilikuwa namzeesha, sikujua. Anyway, wacha tuende na mutaratara, wacha tuende pole pole. So, I noticed funny sexual behavior, especially regarding my boobs, with the male people. And I remember already men have already started. I don't know if it is to call it harassment or what, because it's a test. They know what they're doing anyway. It is your response thereafter. So, Hadija amefika. Things that have happened, but most importantly, Hadija alikuwa na tulikuwa tunabonga Swahili. I think alikuwa mluya. Tulikuwa tunabonga Swahili, and that was, I felt like, thank you Jesus. I had missed to talk some home language with someone, see someone who has home features. Nilikuwa nawaambia, we used to go all the time. They used to have parties, Arab party a lot. So whenever we used to go to the parties, Arabs doing Arabic tradition things, and I would get bored. I would not know what to do. I would go there and there was no one to speak to. They would dance. I remember one time I stood to dance with them. They all sat down, and that left me awkward on stage, and I didn't know what to do. I sat down. So these incidences, this awkwardness that was there when I went to their parties, made me choose to remain in the house most of the times. But when other times would come and I would miss going out, it was the only time to go out and see something, I would take it. And I was going with my mood. Yeah, I'm kind of selfish, but it's I think it's human nature. We do love checking on ourselves. And anyway, I didn't think it mattered that much. I was a shagala. I was a maid. So, as I was speaking with Hadija, she used to insist, she used to tell me how they used to treat the other girl. Oh, she was Nigerian. Oh, unajua msichana mwingine walikuwa wanamfanyia kila kitu. Especially now, remember nimepata ID. ID imefika ni time ya kwenda kununua SIM card ya Saudi. So Hadija ameanza story, ananiambia venye huyo mwingine alikuwa anafanywa kila kitu, venye alimbaia kila kitu. Of course that triggers some bad feelings in me. So when they were telling me to go buy, and I had put some cash aside for it, I was feeling terrible until I think they read my moods, and one of them offered. She gave me, she was beautiful. She was a beautiful lady. And remember, those people who are coming to the rescue are the people remember, this one I had viewed as beautiful, and I think she offered to save me and buy me that SIM card because I thought she was beautiful. Those thoughts you're having about people, they are judging you on that. They are very particular about your opinion, mind-wise. Anyway, after Hadija making me feel bad, huyu mwingine alikuwa anafanywa kila kitu na mimi ndio huyu hapa have to save dough. That was besides the point. It's fine. I'm kind of used to life treating me differently. Like, than other people. That's what I feel most of the times. I felt like I had performed so well. I felt like I had put so much time to develop skills, and I ended up having nothing. So I knew life was unfair to me from the beginning, and that pattern was repeating itself even in Saudi. Imagine, all my friends would call and say how they were being, kwanza wana insist hiyo part. Mimi nabaiwa kila kitu. It's like they were doing that particularly to make me feel bad. And sometimes even when I'm in my argument with God, I'm asking, why do you want me to feel bad always? It is heavy. It has been tough on me for but after years and years of feeling bad, you get used to it. Just like I'm sharing the image issues. At some point, you grow in so much in life, the way you look stops mattering anymore. You realize you're not even disadvantaged. You meet people who are so good looking, and after interacting with them for 5 minutes, you're like, oh, damn, I'm fly. I'm cool. Looks matter to you when you're younger, but as you grow older, as you continue to learn so much about Earth, dear one who is struggling with image issues, it stops being, so many things come up and you're like, that is the list of your problems. Image issues disappear and life starts coming along. So if you're so worried about how you look, my dear one, it doesn't matter your gender. Things get better as you grow older. You get to deal with so much that becomes an issue. Also, take care of yourself. Look for something nice to wear. Deal with it. Just deal with it, because in this world, people are dealing with things. Nobody is having it smooth. Even those you think look so fly. Even those you think like the world is at their feet because they look beautiful. No, nobody has it easy. You learn this. It's something you learn as you grow older. Meanwhile, I hope where you are strong enough to deal with that little assignment God has given you. Because as I told you, I speak with God and He says, Earth, the way we look, it's the way He wants things to be. So if you are given an assignment to carry yourself, this image He gave you, because He is using it in many ways, then you have to do it with grace, which I'm learning. It is difficult, but I don't know which assignment God has given you in your life, but I hope you are having grace enough, or you're finding the right skills to do it. Those are some of the things I'm learning, and I have got so many positives from also this struggle, although it has been very tough. So, anyway, nimefika, one of them offered. Now I was feeling bad. They were being very, very, very unkind to me, because they were saying I would buy everything for myself. But I told you it's mostly because I was having negative thoughts about their home. The people I thought were looking good would often do me some favors, like that sister to Baba. She offered to buy me. I thought she was beautiful. She had long hair. It's called Shar, mashallah. I liked her, and her babies also are very cute. And I think because I grew up hearing ugly, I grew up being criticized so much on the way I looked. I think I also judge the world on the appearance. And I'm also learning, as I grow older, I'm also learning a thing or two about appearance is not everything. And I honestly think coming to this point was unnecessary for me. But here we are, and I'm going to make out of it what I can make out of it. Saudi taught me to let go of the way I want things to turn out. I do not know the outcome of this or anything else in my life. I'm just doing life, and I'm also struggling to do life after Saudi, because obviously there's too much going on. There's too much disturbing me. Life is not as simple and easy as it used to be before I went to Saudi. They open the Pandora's box, and I'm having a hard time adjusting. So anyway, I'm telling you, the day I went and I had no abaya on, they were shouting. I didn't know what to do and what not to do. And also I was learning so much. I was depending so much on the internet, and it was saying, as a person who is not an Arab, you are allowed, as long as you're decent, you can go the way you are. No. In Saudi, you must wear an abaya while you're out. And especially for us Shagalas, you're not a tourist, you're a Shagala. There's a difference. I was battling with the thought of being a maid, and yeah, it was showing, and I'm glad nothing bad happened to me. Anyway, I told you when we went out to buy this card, they were overpricing everything. Like the way I stated earlier, the small things I wanted and they brought them back with a higher bill. I think they were just constantly looking to stress you out, you know? And the quicker you let things go in Saudi, the better you live. The more you dwell on things that hurt you in Saudi, they are trying to stress you out. That is what I got from my struggle. So as a person who has dealt with so much disappointment, I choose to let so many things go. And I think that is even how me as Beth, with all my credentials, because I got some, and anyone watching, I'm a trained environmentalist with experience in environmental conservation, working with communities, and also have worked as a customer care desk in the hospital area. So I'm quite skilled, and I keep wondering, how do I miss opportunities? I never understand it. Anyway, that's letting things go, because if I was a person who holds on to things, I'll probably be a drunkard, a person who uses drugs, or I would have given up by now. Even now, I have gone through the torture of seeing myself die and then picking myself up again and living, even though I know my life had come to an end. I am telling you, I'm struggling with this a lot. So anyway, when we were in the shop, we were in Safaricom shop ya huko. I can't remember that brand. Nobody would speak English, and I knew, a Safaricom attendant shop, nobody knew how to speak English. They were playing me. They just didn't want me. I think they were misinforming me, and I knew it. I had a hunch. My intuition never lies. They were misinforming me to just put pressure on me, but I was like, okay, fine. The card you buy once, everything you buy once, life moves on. I have the convenience of assessing my data by my own terms. That's all I wanted. So I have my ID now. I have gotten what? My card I have bought with a lot of struggles and tears and heaviness of the heart, because I think like they were sending messages. The way my friends used to send me, it was like to make me feel bad, because those people specifically told me I would buy everything for myself, and that hurt. It hurt. And I was wondering, sasa nimetoka tena huku, nimeenda Saudi, bado naonewa mpaka nikiwa Saudi. That hurt a lot. So anyway, I feel like these are some standard that God wants me to reach, that he judges me, he has how he judges other people, and then there is me. And I keep wondering, am I not human? What's up with me? That is a thing. Even, I know, I'll say it even here because I know he listens. This is a thing you have to explain to me. Why do you put the standards? When it comes to me, you raise the bar so high. And I'm a short person. I don't know. I keep missing it. And I want to reach the bar. I want to reach the bar. God, I want to reach the bar. You have been pulling it up and up and up, and I'm just a short person who is trying, who is open, who has had the most I think I'm the most educated person here. I know Saudi is heaven. I don't know if there's anybody who knows this, but I do. I'm the most educated person, and I'm still eating it. There is so much struggle, because I tell you, I'm being supported by my family, and that is what made me go to Saudi in the first place, because I want independence. I'm craving Beth to have something of her own, because that's why she woke up at 3 o'clock many years back in school to work hard so that she could become something. So when I'm here waiting for that something disappears. It pains me. These are some of the thoughts I keep having, and I'm told they're negative, but they're not negative. It's me crying to God and asking him to be fair to me, to remember all that work I have put. I'm praying that it will not be nothing again. I have got my Shahan. Hadija is there. Whatever is happening. So I'm also starting to notice weird stuff. They used to call Karatasi kiss. That is very, very sus. Because I realized they were speaking for things that would come. They are people who know what they can predict what would come. And this Baba would always send me for a kiss. Kiss is like, even in African homes, these polythene bags we keep. Even in Saudi, there are so many, they buy things in polythene, but those polythene, they used to call them kiss. So every time Baba would be around, he would send me for a kiss, and I didn't know they were predicting something, because I told you, one thing about this, as he was tempting me, I had liked him. I thought he was a wonderful person from my perspective. From how he was conducting himself, how he had oriented me, I liked him. And I think that was going to be the fall. That is what made my Saudi journey short. And that's the temptation that failed me. I liked another woman's man. And, I used to sit here and judge people who do this back at home. And now I realized, maybe I judge people harshly. You're not so perfect. If you are tempted enough, you can fall. And every one of us is facing some temptations. And I used to, also judge people so harshly. Now I have a room I'm allowing an allowance for, you can be tempted. That is also a thing that has changed for me. So anyway, Hadija is around, we are beating stories, it is fun. She even used to advise me how she walks around when the men are around, and atingisha, and I was like, oh no, I was not there to, whoever knows me, I think the way I grew up with those self-image issues, I focus so much I put a lot of effort on being good in school and having something to be, and I wanted to stand for myself, and that is what is on my mind. And I think men have always never been so much on my mind. I never felt like I was beautiful enough for men to be interested in me. So and this came out even when if you were following my story, this came out even when I was in school. I would be walking with my friends, they would get so many hey, hi, and I would be left there standing, and it was awkward always. So I opted to keep myself busy, and that's why I'm an isolated person. I do not like feeling bad. So any chance I get to avoid feeling bad, I choose myself and not to expose myself so much so that I don't feel that, they didn't choose me. And it's also something I'm dealing with. And it's a struggle, but I remember one time I told you they were mourning their dad. This Baba I'm also like entertaining him because I like him, and there are conversations going on WhatsApp. He kept popping in and out of my room, and I was okay with it, and other men too, I keep saying this. So one time, they used to hold parties in rotation. One time a party was at his house, and I had planned not to go, and he came to my room to make sure I was going, and I went. And when I was there, Hadija started some weird story, and she would start saying how now the wife, as they were dancing and having fun, she would start saying how the wife to Baba was getting old, and I was like, no. I thought she was looking good for her age. I think they were provoking me to see if I would tear the other woman down, and this came out, and this is what made me come back home, because I felt like they were pitting me against the wife of Baba, since I had liked him so much, and they knew. They're always gauging him. So I felt like Hadija was tearing her down, and that is not what I do. I have repeated again and again on this channel. I am not after I have never understood why a man has to feel better when women are fighting or they are tearing each other down, and I had always had a problem with that even before I went to Saudi, so that was not, that is, and any woman who have encountered me knows I do not tear other women down. And you'll never meet me fighting you over your man. You ask your man why he wants us to fight. That's go far. But I'll never fight you. Or I'll never fight for a man who is putting me in a position. Why do you want to be fought over? Why wouldn't you be so busy loving us so correctly, so that we feel appreciated, we are not fighting? And also, men marry many wives, some men, not all. This is known, it is known. So I also say, it's how you approach that subject, because I would never, and even in my heart, I would never hurt another woman. I know, I have been in relationships, I know how that feels, so I carry the pain of the other woman with me. So even when so many things were happening, I was like, I'm very conscious about the other woman or women. I'm a feminist, I think. So Hadija would start saying, tearing that woman down, and I would feel like, okay, or like, you are so much on her case, and I think she's okay. You know, she would start saying how she thinks she's old, she's getting older, and I'm like, hey, whoa, chill. And I knew what was going on, me and this Baba. So I was like already feeling guilty. So, and notice, I didn't think it was something big, because I thought this is what men do. Even back here at home, men are cheeky and cheesy. So I never took it seriously, but to me, he was starting to grow on me. I had liked him, and it was something, he started to be something I would look forward to when I would get bored, because Saudi can get interesting. That monotony of the same routine, same food, it was getting to me, and I'm a person who is easily bored. Easily. So Hadija has come around. I've met another Kenyan. This is going well. This thing with Baba is what is going to make my life difficult. Anyway, another thing I noticed, like, I'm on to, remember I told you one time, the other time, someone came to borrow me like an item to go work for them. Immediately I refused. There was a similar case back at home, and my sister was asking me, she had a maid at her house, and she was asking me, she wanted to take her home, and it was like they were testing me if I could do what cannot be done to me to another person. And I remember telling my sister no, because she was telling me that maid was refusing, and I was like, I was in her shoes, and I was like, leave her. Maybe you can find someone to go help mom do what she was doing. So there was constant testing on my values and what I was presenting. I was noticing, and there was synchronicity between what was happening back there and home, because there are also so many things that happened that were related to one particular person, and her things kept coming to me as I was having my own struggles back in Saudi. So I felt like my whole Saudi struggle was about her, and I keep telling her this. It is my honest opinion. So another thing that happened, the employer of Hadija, sister to Baba, used my towel one time, and let me tell you, I was not comfortable. I was not coming to, I have always loved that napenda hiyo distance. So when she used my towel one time, I washed it immediately, and the next day she brought a whole paper of vaginal medicines of infection. I thought, I tell you, those people overreact to small things you think on your mind. So I think that action of me washing the towel provoked her to, she thought I thought she was dirty. I didn't notice. These are things I noticed even after, long way after I came back home. Just to tell you that Saudis read your mind. Be careful. They respond to your mind. They are acting continuously, overreacting to the small thoughts you have. Probably you don't mean that ill in your mind, but how they get it, they overreact and change the whole thing about your thoughts. And we didn't agree on that, and they know it. I really came down on them because of that, because I was like, those are not my thoughts. If you're reading my thoughts, because I knew they were, and I confronted them and they couldn't deny. I told them, that is not how I think. You're exaggerating, and I was furious, and that's how I came back home. Anyway, before we jump ahead of the story, I also told you how the people I thought were not so beautiful, especially women, they would come. The next visit, they would come having put on makeup, and they would give me a look until I said they were beautiful. So that was strange. I noticed this strange behavior started in Saudi, and I still feel that even back home. So every time I'm with a new person, or I meet a new person, I'm under the pressure of having a nice impression of them, or something will not work, and it is awful. Sometimes I really, and this blame game I have on my family is because my life has become very difficult after Saudi. I'm so conscious to enjoy life. And that's why I'm saying, if I get a chance, Saudis will pay me because they did something to my brain. There's something they put on that should not be on, and it is making my life difficult. And I heard people say that people who come back from Saudi, some come mad, and I understand. I have almost ran mad so many times because I hear things, I see things. It is strange living and disturbed living. Let me check also what I wanted to talk about. Some of it is disappearing. So Hadija is around, we are good. I think we are going to stay around for like 3 years. Sexual harassment as always was around, and even from children now I started to notice. I told you we would go to the sheep place, the mountains. There was a rock that looked like a penis. I'm not even exaggerating. So there are things that would come up even on the internet to provoke me to have sexual thoughts. So even in Saudi, take care, you are under high sexual provocation. Because many girls who go there are people who don't like men, and to God that is assumed you don't want sex. And sex is not bad, sex is not evil. God made sex. And when you are refusing sex, men do not know what to do with themselves because they are here to please you. And now I have come to understand why God wants us to understand the men and be with them. And you know why most girls in Saudi have a problem with eating? You know, I told you this problem started way in Nairobi. Girls, when you wakitaa kwenda Saudi wananyimwa chakula. And I told you so many things mean different things to me. Eating in spiritual world is having sex. So you have refused to have sex, you should not eat. So as I part this, and I continue to tell you how now this thing with Baba is escalating. And also I noticed something. I told you, using the loo, the Saudis use water to do their toiletries, and that was hard on me, especially when I was going number 2. And I was afraid. It's a high place of high pressure and I was, as much as I like expressing myself, I was under some kind of, nilikuwa nimejifinyilia kidogo, so I would struggle using water, and I think they noticed and they brought me some tissues. The first time I used the tissue, the first 2 days, the loo blocked. The loo blocked. And I was like, wow, how? So they told me it's the tissues, and they gave me a dustbin to be putting you cannot put the tissues in their toilet. That was strange because I was like, okay, I was even looking at their piping. That piping was, the way Saudis build their house is good. It's good architecture. So I was like, this toilet was well built. How can it be blocked by a tissue paper? That was strange. I kept noticing strange things in Saudi. So yeah, I'm noticing incidences of mind reading. Also, what I'm coming up there that cannot be done to me, they are testing if it can be done to someone else. Because I remember I told you, my sister called and to ask me if she could take her maid to mom's place to help her, and I was like, no, don't. I felt that for her. If even today, if I ever get a servant, if I ever get in a position to employ someone, I think I'll be a better employer because I have known how it is like to serve. It is hard. Living with people, they want this done in a particular way. It is some high standard job. It is not easy. And people are also watu wanakuchokoza. You have to know how to conduct yourself in all these temptations and busy things and respect other people's property. I think it's the hardest job that I ever did. So at least I have someone to speak with. I have my ID. I have gotten my SIM card. I can control my data buying. We are moving. I'm getting used to it. I'm getting used to it. But still I'm noticing things that are out of it. So stay tuned for the next episode. But if you think it's a joke, do you think I'm overthinking, or is eating the same as having sex? And does it have a significance? Because many girls in Saudi starve. So if you're a girl out here, love, man. Eat. And then when you eat, you're being, then you're called names. I don't know what it is. My mind is everywhere, because also there's also etiquette of eating. But of importance is like, yeah, eating has a very different meaning to me. Have a wonderful time.